Today I went bass fishing on Lake Ray Hubbard, and I went in a buddy of mine's boat because I don't know how to run Ray Hubbard. I've only fished Ray Hubbard like twice before today. I've never fished north of the bridges because I don't know how to navigate that water. It's north of those bridges, if you fish Ray Hubbard, it's full of trees, full of timber. There's no boat lanes marked like Lake Fork has, so you better know or you just don't go. So I just haven't gone. So I fished in another guy's boat today. Now, who saw the last prank video where my customer pretended to be Ronnie's customer and brought all that crap and put it on your boat?
So bad.
That's really bad when you're a guy that's getting paid to put up with whatever somebody throws at you that day. Like, he's your customer, so you kind of got to let him do what he wants to do a little, you know, to a certain point. It's really bad when you get the guy that wants to bring everything. Like, I hate it. He hates it. Every single person that runs their own boat hates it. Every guy out here hates it. When it's your buddy or when it's your co-angler that you randomly drew that you don't know, that you don't have like a necessary obligation to, it can ruin your day when the guy shows up and brings too much crap. Like, it can ruin your day. You can't even get around in your own boat when this guy shows up and brings 3 big old tackle bags full of stuff. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. If you're my buddy, and this is before I'm guiding, you're my pal, right? Me and Russ back when you weren't guiding and I wasn't guiding, and we're just gonna go fish. It ain't even tournament day. We just going fishing because we gonna go catch them. Mm-hmm. If Ronnie shows up with 15 rods, I don't care. That doesn't bother me one bit. But if Ronnie shows up with 2 tackle bags this big, I'm like, no, you get one of them out of here right now. Like, if you want to show up with all the rods you want, I don't even think that's a bad thing, because if you show up with a bunch of rods, that means you're not going to be digging through tackle and retying all day because you got a whole bunch of different options. So I don't think that's even necessarily a bad thing to show up with a bunch of rods. And at the end of the day, his rods are going to go in that passenger's rod area, and he's going to have to deal with that. That's not going to affect me. So when you're somebody's boat guest and you're going to go fish a tournament with somebody or whatever it is, you need to think about this. Bring all the rods you want, because that's your issue. You bring the rods you're comfortable with, because you're going to have to deal with that. But don't inconvenience the guy that's taking you on his boat. So I went fishing today in another guy's boat. Give me my crankbait box back.
I got nothing.
I want
Give me my.
I'm booked.
I'm booked.
I want to comment on what you just said. So I used to always show up. I had this big brown and tackle bag, man, and it was freaking heavy, dude.
Yeah.
It carried a lot of stuff, but I was always co-angling. So I showed up with a buddy of mine he fished tournaments with, and about 2 or 3 times he called it the bag o' bricks.
Yeah.
He said, "You got that big old bag of bricks?" About 3 tournaments later, he called it the bag o' tricks. He said, "Bring that big old bag."
Yeah.
Because he was always digging in there.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'll tell you a funny story. In 2006, the first full time I fished an actual tournament trail, I fished with a guy named Terry Bradbury, and I had an 18-foot Ranger at the time, so like it was the size of that couch. Hey, you know the biggest Bass Pro Shop bag they make, like the body bag? Then this is no exaggeration. Like, me and him both would have to grab the side of it and get it, and he carried that. Like, my boat would run like this. We'd be going.
Mine wasn't that big.
And people are like, "How fast do your boat run?" I'm like, it just kind of depends if I fish with Terry or not.
So
You can't even use the seat.
we got pulled over on the way to Mexico, and they searched that sucker. No,
Yeah.
that's not the truth.
that's a whole different story. No. So this is this is my go bag, and looks like a soccer mom's grocery getter, right? Grocery bag. I know. I see.
Is that your?
Miss Pearsall's back there. She's like, "Yeah, I know what that is. I got some of them." But this works great.
That does work great.
It's got these little, and I actually got this. Believe it or not, I got this from 6 Sense Fishing. When their social media guy, when their camera guy comes up and films with me, he always brings stuff in these bags, and I stole a couple from him. This one doesn't have a patch. I have others that have a 6 Sense patch on them. So, but it has these side compartments, and I'm gonna kind of show you how it breaks down. So I was going to fish Ray Hubbard today, and guys, if you kind of know the seasonal patterns, or whoever you're fishing with, you get the luxury to talk to them, you can kind of eliminate some stuff. Anyway, so I've got in this bag I can fit 5 of my boxes, and let's say I needed 7. Well, if I show up with this and 2 Plano boxes, that's not a big deal. And all this can sit, when I'm riding in the boat, this can sit right here. So I'm riding in the passenger seat of the boat. I can just literally sit here and straddle this on the floor. And if I've got a couple other Plano boxes, just put them underneath this and set this on top.
And it fits in the back compartment.
It fits in a back compartment perfect. Like, you can hide this and deal with this. Like, you don't have to inconvenience your guy at all. And I'm going to show you how much stuff I have in here. Like, I have all my options covered for the patterns that we were going to fish on Hubbard today. And we fished the river. and we fished the riprap. We fished all the stuff you fish on Hubbard, and I've got everything I need to do that in here. So,
Y'all catch any already?
it's gonna Monday's video. You'll see everything. Okay. Yep. So they have a lot of riprap. We like to crank that riprap. So I've got a box of big square bills. We like to crank the deeper rocks. So I got a box of big crankbaits.
You got like an eighth of a box of big crankbaits.
Well, that's after today, because Hubbard can eat your baits. I'm gonna tell you. Well, we did go fish in the river, and it's late summertime, so and little shaky heads, so I can knock two things out. So I've got the Devon 6-inch worm. I can throw it on a shaky head on those rocks, and I can trick worm it. I can wacky worm it up shallow. So I've got that. Jigs. We were going to fish some docks, Hubbard. There's some docks to fish on Hubbard. So I got my box of jigs. If I want to drag a jig out deep, I've got lots of options there with jigs. And then, of course, I got big perm and a bubble fry for out deep on the big shaky head and the Carolina rig. So I've got all these boxes. Now, on top of all that, I've got these new stick baits, and I've got these other plastics that I want to carry. So if you're going to fish shallow water and you're going to flip and you're going to fish flooded bushes and stuff like that that's in the river, well, you're going to need some variety of plastics if you don't know what to bring. So as you can see, I've got tons and tons and tons of different plastics in here. All different creature baits, stick baits, chatterbait trailers, the impact shad. I brought chatterbaits in here, and I'm going to show you guys how I did that. So I've just got all these different plastic bags floating around the bottom of my bag here, right? And then this side pocket, where's my side pocket in here? Here it is, right here. Got this little side pocket in here like this, right? See that right there? Well, I've got me 3 or 4 chatterbaits in here. And I got a jig in there, apparently. So I got a couple 3 chatterbaits and a jig in there. And then I've got another side compartment over here. So all these different techniques, I'm gonna need different hooks and different weights and all that stuff for, right? So I got shaky heads, I got nail weights for wacky, I've got swim bait jig heads. I mean, you just, you see what I'm saying? Like, you can literally use this one bag and have everything you could possibly need. Wacky hooks, I mean, just everything.
That is a great co-angler bag.
It is the best deal that I've ever found. And hey, I tell you guys a lot. Y'all probably heard me say this, but the reason that I'm so adamant about doing as much of this instructional stuff, and not that I know everything or I'm an expert, but I want to help as much as I can. And the reason is because I was y'all, and I was the guy that didn't know nothing, y'all. Like, I grew up fishing with my dad. We didn't fish tournaments. I fished a lot of ponds. Like, I wasn't a guy that grew up fishing a big lake every weekend like the big boys. We were just old redneck fishermen that drug a worm and threw a spinner. Like, that's how I grew up. So when as an adult, when I got in the Marine Corps and I started really getting into bass fishing when I moved here, like, I knew how to catch fish, but I didn't know all these things. I didn't know how to be a good co-angler. I didn't know how to efficiently store tackle because I was never in a race until then. As you so well put it. You put it so well there. I never was in that race. Well, now that I've been in that race, you know, I understand all you guys, because the last 10 years I've been trying to figure out how to be better. And this is the best deal going, this one little bag right here, because you can carry everything you could possibly need. You just make your plan. You go to your boat or your garage or wherever you got all your stuff, and you just pick what you want, throw it in the bag. Pick what you want, throw it in the bag. And then you go, you show up, and that guy loves you because you didn't bring a whole pile to dump in his boat.
That's a good point, man. That was great. So you're handing out baits tonight?
I'm about to. I got to be careful. There's some stuff in here I can't show. We can't handle it. I bet you'll never guess what we caught them on Hubbard today. The package that's almost empty. I'm gonna give away some of these 6-cent plastics. Does anybody have any questions about anything? I'm gonna try and organize some stuff to give away to y'all. Anybody got any comments, concerns, other than Ronnie's sanity? Go ahead, Ron.
Chatterbaits for me. I like a black and blue. Yeah, I like a black and blue 1/2 ounce chatterbait with like a Strike King Rage Lobster, black and blue. If I'm not fishing lights, like if I'm fishing lights, it's different. But just what are you doing? Are you doing there buying tackle?
Hey, I want to.
My son's buying tackle.
I've night fished a lot.
And this dude, just so you guys, if you don't know Brandon Dillard, this dude's legit. Like, we wouldn't even let him talk.
He could probably get up here and do a better job of this
good. He's real good.
I've been fishing a long time, and when I was 16, a guy out here turned me on to a bait. It's a Hildebrand. Go-Getter, spinnerbait, number 5 gold blade.
Where can you find Hillbrinks now? I don't even know find Hillbrinks.
That's
Really?
Yes, sir.
That's cool. I didn't
It's
know.
that black, it's that
I got
black
some
skirt
weight
with a little bit of
hooks in
glitter.
it.
I'm not sure what
It's like one that everybody tackle.
There's another one that's really widely available is the War Eagle. I mean, it's not maybe as good, but the War Eagle's really good too. That's a big blade. So it's not gold. I think it's a black blade or a purple blade.
Hey, we can tell y'all one more. Y'all can get right down the road. Joe Spates, the Flutterspoon guy, has one that he calls Elvis, and it's basically a lot like the Hildebrand. It's got that thumper blade, but you know on that Hildebrand how it vibrates so good because that arm's so thin.
So thin.
Well, Joe built one that'll vibrate like that doesn't blow out. The arm doesn't bend out and blow out as bad. It has the same vibration, but it doesn't tear up as bad. And he made it black, and he put chartreuse mylar, which if you fish around lights at night, that chartreuse mylar just has this awesome flash to it when it goes through the lights.
Where are you getting that one at?
Joe Spates down the road at the tackle factory. He calls it, just go in there and ask for Elvis. He calls it Elvis.
Okay.
Actually, that name came from Kelly Jordan back in the day when Kelly Jordan was fishing here before he was on the tour. Him and Joe were good friends. The tour, him and Joe were real good friends. And he would fish the weekday night tournaments out here all the time during summer and all that. And he actually was the one that went to Joe and was like, "Hey Joe, can you build me a spinnerbait like the Hildebrand that doesn't fall apart every time I catch a big fish on it?" And so that's the mission that Joe set out on, and that's kind of what he accomplished because he's a really good tinker and tackle builder. He does some crazy things, and Kelly won so much money on it, he nicknamed it Elvis. He said it's the king, so he just started calling it Elvis. And now, like, people will walk into the shop over there and be like, "Hey, is Elvis in the building?" You know.
And that used to that was everybody threw that because the chatterbait hadn't been out that long.
Right.
Yeah.
And that used to be like what you threw, that and then a big worm and a jig.
You know, like I said, I grew up dragging a worm a lot. Like with my dad, it was just kind of simple fishing. He did a lot of meat hunting fishing too. He'd go catfishing and crappie fishing, and I was the stupid little hyper kid that was on the back deck throwing a spinnerbait when he was catfishing. I was in the middle of the lake just throwing a spinnerbait. It's about like that one right there. That one right there. But yeah, so I did grow up dragging a worm. What'd he do? What did he do?
That's my youngest son.
It's because he's kin to him. But I did grow up dragging a worm a lot, and so for me, not like night fishing, my deal on night fishing, man, golly, I just have a hard time not wanting to just drag that big 10-inch worm, you know, or a big jig with loud rattles. That's right, like you know, you got them rattle bands. When I used to night fish quite a bit, I would take those rattle bands and I'd put 2 of them suckers on there, and I've had a rattle sitting this way and a rattle sitting this way.
Slingshot.
Yeah, I have 4 rattles on that thing, and I just throw it out there and just shake it and just try to make as much noise as I could. But I like to drag. I slow down. I've gotten away from it. You know, doing what we do, we got to cover some water. We got to find fish every day.
I hate it.
And so now I'm chatterbait crank. Like I just throw all this stuff, but in my heart of heart,
It sure builds your sensitivity. Fishing at night, and slowing down and using those worms and stuff like that.
Yeah, and in my heart of hearts, like in my soul, in my background,
I can't do it.
In my background, I'm a dragger. I'm a slow fisherman. That's my background. But I'm a flipper. You know, that's what I do. But so yeah, for me, if I go night fishing, hey, unless I'm fishing a night fishing tournament at night, I'm not in a race anymore. Like I might be in a race every day out here, but if I'm going night fishing, I'm gonna slow down. I'm gonna enjoy the cool air, and I'm gonna drag that worm. That's just kind of what I do.
Which is Kelly Jordan wrote a article a long time ago about not fishing out here, and he mentions the spinnerbait and says when you're fishing at night, slow down, and then once you've slowed down, you need to slow down a little bit more, and then once you slow down a little bit more, slow down a little bit more.
Yeah.
But
Unless you're fishing for smallies.
yeah, we don't know.
What's that?
Yeah,
What's that?
we got nothing.
He's over there on Grapevine catching them big smallmouth.
Is that where you're catching those fish?
Texoma too. Grapevine and
Texoma.
Texoma. Grapevine's really coming on strong. They're getting
crazy.
bigger. But Texoma, man, you got 40, 50
All right, let's give some stuff away. Y'all want to give some stuff away?
Yeah.
These are some brand new baits that have just hit the market. Right now, you can find them at 6inchfishing.com. And what do you do when you go to 6inchfishing.com, folks?
Lake Fork Guide.
Punch in the code, your Lake Fork Guide. It'll get you a 10% discount on anything you order there. But these baits have just come out. They're in a limited run for now, so they're not going to last. Like some of the colors are already out of stock, so if you want some of these and you like these when you see them tonight, be sure you go over there like today and order them this evening online. They'll have a big, massive production run, I believe, that's coming in December. So that'll be the next time. Once these are out, the next time they'll be available is supposed to be December. So
What's that called?
It's called the Clout. It's a new take on a stick bait. How long has it been since we had a new take on a stick bait? It's a little bit slimmer. It's almost in between a finesse worm and a stick bait. It's a skinny stick bait that has different style ribs on it. It's got like hexagons. So I don't know, but I put it in the water and I watched it fall and I went, okay.
So
it's real good. Like it's real good. Like we caught like every fish I caught on Hubbard today came on this thing because everything else I threw got hung up.
Now, how are you rigging that?
Just like a stick bait, I'm either wacky rigging it or weightless Texas rigging it. You can throw it on the shaky head if you wanted to. Like it's just like your 5-inch stick bait, just different. And in my opinion, I think it's going to be better because it is different.
Can't you get the Clout over at that Neon Moon bar?
No, you need to add an A and lose an OU.
One out package.
Here, just open it up and look at it, bud. That package has already been opened. So that pack, like I've literally been using these. So like that package has been open. There might be a worm missing out of it. I don't know. But most of these are brand new packages. And we've got the Ned Fry, which is this thing floats.
This sucker, y'all don't listen to nothing he says about no Ned rig. This boy don't even know how to spell Ned rig.
I ain't gonna say nothing about a Ned rig. What I'm gonna tell you is this thing floats. This is my new drop shot bait. This is a great finesse shaky head bait, and this is a really good Carolina rig bait because this little Ned Fry has flotation to it. So, all right, so let's do some giveaways. How you want to do the giveaways?
Hey, that's you.
We need to do some
I'm not
trivia.
real good at that. Well, let's do some trivia.
Do some trivia.
My bad.
I played defense.
I was Deion Sanders.
Knock it down. I played defense.
Let's see. Let's do the first one.
Okay.
You want to do a little Bassmaster trivia or what?
Okay. Well, that's fine. I want to do some trivia about what we talked about.
Okay. We're doing a pop. That's a pop quiz.
Pop quiz.
I'm booked.
No, we can just you got your go. Whatever you want. You come on.
Let's see.
Can you about Lake Fork? Can you about Bassmaster?
Who caught the famous bass on Lake Fork called Ethel?
Mark Stevenson.
Mark Stevenson.
You're not okay. You're no longer eligible.
Okay.
All right.
You can only win one package. Once you get one right, you're out of the contest.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
Boy, now I said I put you on the spot. I'm like, why can't he come up with anything? Now
Yeah.
I'm on the spot. I'm like, why can't I come up with anything?
You rambled on about that tackle bag for 45 minutes. I'm gonna go get me a satchel tonight.
I'm gonna tell you something. You might talk to your wife and kids like that, but you're not gonna talk to me like that.
This sucker's gonna paddle me.
Paddle me. It's hard to concentrate around you.
I know.
Oh God, I can't think of something. I apologize. It's a lot of 100-degree days and mind melt going on. Who won the 2014 Toyota Texas Bass Classic held at Lake Fork, and what was his 3-day winning total weight?
Keith Combs.
Keith Combs is right. Do you know the weight?
Jordan or Keith Combs?
Do you know the weight?
I'm gonna say, I want to say it's over 100 pounds.
Well, that's true, but huh? Does anybody know? 110?
107.
No.
That was it on the money.
But that was like 2
110.
questions though.
Okay, that was 2 questions.
It's 115 pounds.
Here you go.
No, it was 110.
There's a consolation prize.
Okay. Who caught the famous fish Valentine?
Larry Barnes.
Larry Barnes.
Oh man, they both hit it at the same time.
Did they?
There you go.
Well, here, I'll give you. All right, there's the net fry.
Larry Barnes is the guy that helped me get in the guide business. That's
All right, last question.
I took a guy trip with Larry when I was 16.
That is, he's awesome.
Last question. Oh, I got one. This is a little Your Lake Fork guy trivia. Who knows what the biggest fish caught in my boat is and how much, you know how big it was? This year.
12 and a half.
11 pounds, 6 ounces.
12 something, and it was that Lake Athens. It was almost like
Oh.
It was at Lake XYZ, dog. No, I'm just
I forgot about that one.
What was it? 12 and a half. It was not 12 and a half. It was not 12.8.
12, 13.
You don't get them.
Man, how's that? I ain't even got none, man.
13.
Here.
Yeah, right.
He already won.
All right. She was really close. Who said 12 and a half? Is that you? You already won.
I got a consolation prize.
You're the closest one that hadn't won.
Yeah, 12, 12, yeah.
It's 12.8.
So yeah, it was 12 pounds and 13 ounces, which is crazy big. To my knowledge, as best I can recall, I think, and this is just, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I gotta stretch because I'm gonna do this for a look. I think that's the biggest fish caught in a guide's boat around here this year. 12 pounds 13. So I got that. So I got that going for me. It was huge. It was freak. Like, it was hard to believe how big this fish was.
What month was that caught?
It was like the end of May. Like, it was post spawn. Like, that was the freaking, like, this fish was such a big frame fish. It was no doubt like a 14 to 15 pound fish in February. Like, it was, I've never seen anything like it. When this fish came up, when his head came up, and the guy that caught him, his PB before that fish was a 2-pounder. Like, when he came to me that day, the biggest fish he ever caught, biggest bass he ever caught in his life was a 2-pounder. Like, this guy didn't bass fish. He was with his father-in-law. His father-in-law bass fishes all the time and has never caught a 10-pounder and always wanted to. He's fished with me multiple times. Well, he brings his son-in-law with him on this trip, and his son-in-law catches almost 13-pounder post-spawn, and he didn't even know. Like, he sets the hook and he goes, "Oh, I'm hung up." And I went, "No, keep reeling." I about had a heart attack, you know, like, keep reeling. And then it comes up and his head shakes, and I'm like, I normally at that time I'm just going for the net. But when this fish came up and his head shook and all I saw was the head, I was like, I kind of just stopped. I was like,
That's the one that make you freeze.
I couldn't believe it. Like, it was kind of one of those moments. And then at that point, like, once like a split second later, I snapped to, and now I'm in full panic mode because I got a guy that does not know how to fight a big fish. He doesn't have a clue what he's doing. Not talking bad about him, he just doesn't. He's never had a fish anywhere close to it. He's never caught a 4-pounder, you know? And so I'm like, oh my God, there's no way we're getting this fish in the boat. There's no way we're getting this fish. So I guess what I should be saying right now is thank you to Seagar fluorocarbon, because it held up to this big fish with a guy that was just like, and I was like, just keep reeling. Just keep, don't stop reeling. He hit the rod would go down, pick the rod. I'll start yelling at him, you know?
That's awesome.
It was an awesome catch, and we got that thing in the boat, and everybody just, it wasn't like, you get the big fish in the boat, people start slapping hands and hollering a little bit. Like, none of that happened. We put this fish in the boat, and I put him on the deck, and everybody just went.
Did he know? Did he realize what he?
As the day went on, so I've been fortunate to catch some really big fish the last couple of years. So last year, I mean, I've talked about it many times, but I had the 13-year-old kid catch a 12-pound, 2-ounce fish last year. Now, that kid was really good at fishing. Like, he knew what he was. I mean, he was out there slinging a big swim bait. He was like 13 years old. You know, like, he knows what he's doing. And he set the hook and handled this fish perfectly. Like, I didn't have to coach him at all to catch this big 12-pounder. Well, both times though, when it's hard until you've been in the boat with a fish that's, you know, even a 10-pounder, but especially like when you start getting to 11 and then 12 and almost 13, like. And I've only been in the boat with just a few. Like, I've literally only been in the boat with a few of those. But when that fish is that big and he comes in the boat, you're just not prepared to like process it. And so everybody like those last two guys that I've seen catch those big giant fish, there wasn't like an overwhelming sense of excitement or joy. It was a little bit of shock. It was, oh my goodness, like, what have we done? And then throughout the day, like.
Yeah.
It grows.
It starts setting in.
Yeah, throughout, therefore, what, like, both of them, after they caught the fish and we got good pictures of it, got measurements for replicas, all that good stuff, we released the fish. Both of those guys, the kid and the grown man, they literally go sit in the passenger seat for about an hour and just kind of like stare off into space, and they're just in shock. And then they pick up and they start fishing. Like, man, that was so awesome. Golly, that's such a big fish. And then as the day goes on, they kind of, it's like 4 hours later, they're like, yes! Yeah. Now they're fist bumping and excited. So it's just been amazing. You know, I'm just really, really lucky to be a guy that's as passionate about bass fishing as I am. I've always been obsessed with it, can never get enough of it. And I ended up here. So one of these days, I got to make a video telling the story of how I ended up in this business, how I ended up in this area, because there was never any plans for this for me. This is pure credit to the man upstairs. I was just luckily not so stupid that I wouldn't listen to him when he beat me on the head, so I ended up here. Like, it's pure fate that I ended up here, and I'm very, very fortunate. I count my blessings every day that I live in the area that I live in, where we have the options that we have and the resources that we have and the fish that we have are just in this area. I mean, there's we could start listing lakes and go on for another hour about the amount of lakes that we have that can kick you out of fish like that. And man, it's just been amazing ride. And I'm glad that you guys have gotten to kind of join in on it through YouTube or hanging out with us on Friday night. So I'm gonna quit rambling. I think it's about time to go eat some steak next door.
Prime rib
So we're gonna go
time,
get some prime
I want to know
rib.
where you got the shoes first.
Yes.
The Terrier Stompers. That's what those are. That's the official name. The
Those are
Terrier.
awesome.
Those
These
are
are-
awesome.
These are Terrier Stompers. They've got some Warriors right here on the side. A little bit of, I mean, nobody wants to get kicked in the face by that, Jack. I'm
We're a
just gonna tell
veteran
you.
family, so like that's.
I know
big.
you are. I know
That's
you are.
big.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, and we're both vets up here. So yeah, I actually, funny story. My wife had to have a. Some of you guys that have followed the channel for a while know that my wife has been through, I mean, kind of hell for a woman her age over the last couple of years through medical stuff. She fought and beat down cancer, and she's cancer free, all good. But there's been some lingering effects to her body from all of that, and so she's had to have some follow-up stuff. And she had to have a surgery earlier in the summer. And what's funny is she had to go have the surgery, and I'm sitting there in the waiting room, and I'm, what do we all do when we're in the waiting room these days? We get this deal out. Look at
What's that?
Ronnie Kelly's so stupid. God, look at this idiot. And then I'm scrolling through Facebook, and this it was an ad. It was a sponsored post, but it was these shoes. And I've seen these shoes, and like I've seen these shoes with like Donald Trump face on them. I've seen just the flag.
Yeah.
But then I saw these, and it had my Warrior Brethren on the side, and I went,
That's awesome.
oh yeah. So I bought them. And so yeah, I don't know. They came from some place called libertytea.com.
I'm gonna have to just put in like American shoes.
Yeah, it's
American flag shoes.
it's liberty.te.
Just talk about them.
There we
Just
go.
start talking about them.
I'm gonna get in the car.
Yeah, you're gonna get it.
Well, they came, so that's a whole other story. Like, there's always long stories with me, but these came with laces. They had laces right here, but my favorite part of the shoe is the Humvee with the turret, and they had like this little deal right here that it had laces on it. It had this little white patch on the side, and it covered up my Humvee. So
Okay.
and they fit so snug without the laces. I just cut them off.
Hey, with the 240 on top.
Yeah, it's got the whole 240 Golf on the top. That's right.
They're Adidas, aren't they?
No, these are.
That looks like the Adidas pattern.
You wanna hear-
Looks like the
I know,
boots
like
a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah. So do you want to hear the funniest part and the reason that
They're
these
like
shoes?
super good knockoffs of Adidas.
Yeah, they are. And the reason they can get away with these knockoffs, and this is the most ironic part about this, is these shoes are made in China. There's a Chinese company called libertytea.com, like that's their website. And they're Chinese manufacturers, but they make all these American shoes, and they sell them to us Americans that are all like, "Yay, America! Take my money, China."
I ordered some Dallas
That's why
Cowboy
China-
shoes.
I'm sorry, but that China understands it.
They get it.
I mean, they just
They get it.
Well, I mean,
They got
their
the-
laborers are like
I mean,
that age.
They don't get that part, but they get
Yeah.
what Americans want. That's
Yeah.
the point.
Oh yeah, there ain't no doubt.
Throw a American
Sweet.
flag on it, and we'll all buy it. It's
I
just
know.
is.
I love it, man. Yeah, I'm proud of these shoes. I love them. I'm not a fashion guy. Yes. Yeah, they're very comfortable. They are very comfortable, very light. So
Let me ask one more random question.
Yeah, of course.
Super random.
Yeah.
And I don't need specifics or anything. This is only my third time to this lake. I haven't been here much.
okay.
You guys ever have, not necessarily this year, you guys have good luck even fishing the docks like midday in the summer ever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've actually heard mixed reviews. Like I have some buddies that fish and they're like, the dock's
Hey.
not there. And I'm like, oh, no, they look
my
pretty
kid.
good.
Uh-oh.
Now we got my kid here.
I was just curious because I'm not asking for anything.
Yeah, man, they're
Yeah.
really
So
good.
the deal with dock fishing on Lake Fork and any lake that has all this timber. So if it's like Palisade, if it's Lake of the Ponds, like docks are great houses for fish. What you gotta think about is, and this is important on all lakes with docks.
Right.
Like these docks will be better than these docks for certain reasons. But on a lake like this, it's really important because these fish have standing timber and small areas of shade anywhere they want it.
Yeah.
So what you gotta find is you gotta find the docks that correlate with the bottom contours. Be it a creek channel swing, be it a point, be it whatever it may be,
Right.
just a steep bank, something
Well, that's what you're
that's
thinking.
different versus just a random stretch of docks that
Right.
all has 6 foot of water on the end of them.
Like Cedar Creek or something. down the middle.
Yeah.
Of course, brush and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Brush can attract and all that stuff. And
Magic
yeah,
docks.
which a lot of the docks out here have brush around it because most people that buy a house on Lake Fork are fishermen.
Yeah.
And so if they have a dock on Lake Fork, they're fishermen.
Right.
Most of them, so they like to put brush around their dock and all that.
The reason
But-
I ask that is a lot of times when I go to a new lake, maybe it's just a confidence thing. I always tend to, anywhere I go,
There's a
docks,
lot of
just 'cause
pros
there's
that
fish
do
on
that.
docks.
But
That's where
I'm
just
with
go.
you. I grew up fishing Lake Conroe and the grass died when I was a baby.
Oh, I went to about the same Houston.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you're growing up fishing Lake Conroe, like, docks was the main source of cover on that
Right.
lake. And so, docks are a major comfort zone for me too. I don't fish them near as much out here, but I do have certain docks that I fish regularly. And the reason that I do is because of the bottom contours. I've learned over the years out here, when I moved up here 10 years ago now, it was the deal that stood out to me real quick, real fast in a hurry, was that all these lakes in East Texas, we're so fortunate, and the reason we have all these big fish is because all these lakes are so fertile, and they have so much cover and so much structure. And these fish can thrive anywhere in these fisheries. So to find that needle in the haystack,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like to find the one sweet spot in this massive field of awesome fishing, you really have to kind of almost ignore all the visual stuff that we've always learned to go, man, look at all that standing timber. There's going to be some fish in there. Man, look at all that grass. There's going to be some fish. Well, look at all, there's 1,000 acres of it. Where do you have fish in 1,000 acres? You know,
Yeah.
you have to really ignore that and then pay attention to the contours. So if I'm fishing grass, I kind of make a line in that area that has all the grass that I'm going to fish. Let's say I'm going to go up to the back of Running Creek and I'm going to fish hundreds of acres of grass.
Yep.
In my head, when I'm trying to break down where I'm going to fish Running Creek, when I'm trying to learn Running Creek and learn where the good spots are and find the fish the first time, in my head, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the area where I want to fish. So the grass, about halfway back in Running Creek, the grass goes all the way across and you got the rest of the creek. So from halfway back in Running Creek all the way to the back, I'm going to pretend there's no grass there. And I'm going to study my contour map, and I'm going to study my drains and my ditches and my creek channels and my humps and my points and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to make my highlight spots out of those. And when I go to Running Creek tomorrow, I'm going to fish all those structure spots instead of worrying about all that grass.
No, that's excellent advice. That's really, really good. Especially like some of these lakes have such massive pad fields, and like one of my good buddies is so confident in fishing pads, and I'm like, dude, I don't. It's like when you first start, it's just.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah,
it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And to translate it to dock fishing, so you go to a Cedar Creek or even a Lake Fork, where we do have like stretches in Little Caney where there's just a mile of docks. Well, I'm going to take those stretches of docks, and then I'm going to pretend those docks aren't there and go, if I was only going to fish this bank, this section of bank right here, this mile-long section that's got all these docks, where would I start? Where would be my highlights if there was no docks here? Well, it's going to be where that creek channel swing is, or where that point runs out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that goes back to, I can't remember what pro said it, but there's some pro out there that has a numbering system. It was some seminar, I don't know if it was Jared's one or somebody, but that goes back to like, if there's a dock and it has a contour line and it has reeds on it, now that's a triple, so it all adds up. So that's,
and that you can translate that into all aspects of bass fishing, whether it's offshore or whatever. You know, on an offshore, you know, hey man, a hump's good, right? Like a hump's real good, but a hump with a big old creek channel swing running up against it's even better.
Right.
And then a hump with a road bed across it and a creek channel swing is even better.
Right.
Like that goes into all those
no,
things.
that's good. That's really good advice. I appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Any more questions? We'd never like to leave a question unanswered. So, okay. Hey, thank each and every one of you guys very much. Thank Lake Fork Marina, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.